Hello, my name is Ashley Roberts, and today I am going to be doing a persuasive speech on domestic violence. So, for my audience, can I have you state your name?
Trevina Roberts.
Mary Roberts. Tanisha Roberts.
Trinity Roberts.
Okay, so, you guys, I just want to briefly, get me nervous. I want to briefly talk about domestic violence. So I hope this never happens to, a woman in general. But unfortunately, with times, domestic violence has been a very big thing going on, and social media has been showing light on these situations. So I guess I'm more so just want to let you know the signs of domestic violence and how you can get out of an abusive relationship or unhealthy relationship. Okay, so domestic violence, I did some research. It started like way back in the day, like with the Romans. So the Romans were taught that they were to, pretty much it was okay for them to control their wife, and that's just the way things were. So I recently found out that in 1994, I believe, that's when they actually passed a law for domestic violence, which is so crazy to me because like I'm an 80s baby, so like I was born in 86, so I'm like literally that was just a few years after I was born. So I was just thinking like, were women just being abused for years and it was just swept under the rug? But so 1994 they passed this law, and actually New York City was the very first state that opened up a women's shelter. But yeah, I didn't know that. But basically I just want to tell you some warning signs of unhealthy toxic relationships. So a lot of people have issues with controlling. So controlling is one, verbal abuse is one, physical abuse, of course, is one. Controlling can be anything such as they don't want you to wear certain things or speak to certain people. They love to isolate you. That's like a big key part of abuse. So they want to isolate you from your friends, your family, maybe have you move to a different city, a different state, so they can have you all to themselves. That way you don't have a support system. You don't have anybody that they call on. You pretty much, it's just you and your spouse/abuser. So controlling, of course, like I say, whether or not you can or can't wear makeup, depending on what they want you to wear. When you leave the house, they want to know where you're going. They got the password to your phone. They probably tracking your phone or your location, tracking your car. Those type of behaviors, like those are red flags. Them are warning signs, like get out. So once again, like I say, isolating you from your family, because people who do have their family tend to have a better escape route than people who have completely cut their family off. So we have controlling, we have isolation, physical abuse. Of course, once someone put their hands on you, then of course, like, it's time to go. Also, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. I feel like that kind of coincides all together, but verbal abuse doesn't necessarily mean someone has to raise their voice or yell at you. Verbal abuse can be like them just tearing you down, telling you nobody's gonna ever want you, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, and pretty much making you think that you're just stuck with them because they try to put in your head that nobody's gonna ever want you, so you have to just stay with them. Emotional abuse also coincides with that, and I feel like it causes a person to be depressed. It creates anxiety, so it mentally messes with them, and some people actually be thinking like they can't do no better than the person that they are with. So we have also with the verbal and emotional and mental abuse. Just pretty much making somebody feel like they're worthless and, there's no way out. There's nothing that they can do. But, and that's the reason for the speech, to try to persuade people that it is a way out. So the biggest thing that I wanted to speak on this is because, like I say, social media, we've been seeing it happen. Unfortunately, we've been seeing a lot of young women, especially women of color lately, losing their life, and they are leaving children behind. And it's all due to, I feel like, a spouse who may be insecure, has anger issues, has been controlling, isolated them from their family, has mentally, physically, emotionally abused this woman for who knows how long. But I just decided to speak on this because it has been going on so long. Literally, every time, I want to say every 2 to 3 months, it's a story. So the last story that really touched me was a story recently, I want to say around in December, right when the new year came in, of a young mother whose life was taken away in front of her young daughter and by the young daughter's dad. So it's just like, we need to put an end to it. And I feel like the way that we can put an end to it is, first, as women, we have to start loving ourselves first. Self-love is best love. Because if you don't love yourself, then you can't expect nobody else to love you. If you don't think highly of yourself, then how will the next person think highly of you? So you have to sit down. I feel like women should have a plan already put in motion. Like, this is what I want from out of a man, A, B, C, D. Like, I want to be treated like a queen. I want to be respected. I want to be, showered with love and affection. And this is what I don't want from a man. I don't want him to be raising his voice. I don't want him to disrespect me. Like, we have to set boundaries and we have to know the red flags. So I feel like people show warning signs of the type of person that they potentially could be. And of course, I know a lot of people wear masks. So like, maybe the first 3 months, they may seem like, this knight in shining armor, and they got a whole mask, and really they're like the spawn of Satan or something. So, pretty much we just have to make sure that we keep our eyes open and we don't ignore red flags. And I feel like a lot of people ignore red flags, or a lot of people are looking at the potential of a person bettering themselves, but you can't stay with someone who is doing all of these things to you. You have to, like I say, once again, love yourself more. So you have to be willing to step out the situation. Like, there are plenty domestic shelters and everything that you can contact, and they can give you the information of how to leave these situations safely. So you have that. You have, maybe you can reach out to a family member. Maybe you can reach out to a local church. I feel like now it's a lot of avenues, and even though that can help you as opposed to maybe back in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s, but even though now it's more women losing their life, and I feel like it's because they have been settling and allowing men to abuse them in multiple ways, and they just keep feeling like, oh, I love him, I don't want to leave him because, he's a good man, and I want him to work on himself, or I know he could be better, and I'm going to stick around. Like, that's the wrong type of mind frame to have. Never stick around when somebody shows you who they truly are. Never stick around when you see multiple red flags. Like, pack up a bag, hide it where the spouse will never find it, and when they go off to work, then that's your escape. But the main thing I wanted to just put out there is, I want women to be able to leave toxic, unhealthy relationships safely with their lives intact. I'm tired of seeing women only way out of an unhealthy relationship is in a body bag, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to, in conclusion, I'm just trying to break the cycle and just spread awareness that I don't want this to be you. And I don't want this. I don't want to continue to see women being, murdered due to domestic violence. So, I just wanted to express some tips. Like, it's plenty avenues to be able to leave these relationships safely. We just have to love ourselves first, put ourselves first. If you have children, put them first, and just know that you are enough, you are worth it, and don't never let nobody take your power away. Again, my name is Ashley Roberts, and this is my persuasive speech on you can leave a relationship safely.